Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for joining me for today's video. Hopping right on into today's topic. Today's discussion is about what is exactly the future of Chapman Guitars. The reason why I'm making this video is because about a week and a half ago at the time of this filming, arguably their biggest artist ever, Rabea Massaad, has left the company. This is massive news, especially if you're a huge guitar nerd and a guitar geek like me. Because when I first started this whole YouTube journey about almost 6 years ago now, Chapman Guitars and Rabea Massaad was like peanut butter and jelly. Like, they were always one and the same, going hand in hand. And all the Anderton videos and the Rob Chapman videos, Rabea was always around and he was always repping the company. So to see this moment in time kind of develop and seeing him leave the company, it's massive. Now, time out before we go any further. This video that I'm making right here, the video that you're watching, is not to pass judgment. It's not to criticize. It's not to bash. It's not to shame. It's not to do anything but just kind of just document the events of Chapman Guitars. I'm not here to spread any sort of negativity, and in this video I want to talk about how Chapman Guitars can slowly start to kind of just go back on the up and up, okay? So like I said, man, this video is not to criticize, and I know Chapman Guitars has really been under the microscope over the last couple years, and I'm more or less just documenting what's going on with the company and just talking about what I think they personally should do next in order to just kind of, you know, swing the pendulum back in the positive direction. With that being said, yes, like I was saying, Chapman Guitars has had a lot of negativity around the brand over the last couple years. I mean, there's a bunch of PR blunders, there's some business deals that went south that I personally don't want to speak on because I wasn't in the room. You most likely weren't in the room, so all I know is the general consensus is like just things went south and it just didn't look good for Chapman, right? And then with Rob Scallon leaving in 2020, 2021, somewhere around there, now Rabea Massaad's leaving. A lot of bad things have been happening to the company. But just because Chapman's in a bit of a lull period over the last couple of years doesn't mean that they can't pull themselves out of it and, you know, do anything to sort of revitalize the company. I mean, companies go through peaks and valleys all the time. Look at Gibson in 2018 and 2019, Chapter 11 bankruptcy, the Firebird bulldozer or steamroller incident, whatever that was, the Play Authentic blunder. You know, it was a rough time for that company. And then, you know, look at them now in 2023. They're kind of, you know, somewhat killing it, right? With Gibson, Epiphone, and Kramer. Like, that whole entity's kind of turned it around, I think. So this is what I think Chapman Guitars needs to do. Cutting right to the chase. The main thing I think they need to do is they need to get a big-time artist on board. Now, I've done a little bit of research for this video, and I do believe that there are some signature guitars that are in the works. Well, I know there's some signature guitars in the works.
Now, you've probably seen some news regarding our signature artists for this year. Really excited to announce that, yeah, we're launching the Diego Cavallotti 7-string. We're going to be launching the Danish Peak guitar, and we're also really excited to be working on the Chris Robertson signature guitar as well. It's going to be a really fun year with these artists. Really excited to be bringing them to you. So yeah, so those guitars are going to come out across the year as we continue to work with artists, fine-tune them, and get them just right.
Dan, one of the employees of Chapman Guitars, posted a little video, little snippet, little sneak peek about things to come with Chapman Guitars. And they're talking about new models, new signature guitars, new guitars in general. So they have a lot of stuff, you know, in the works behind the scenes, and that will soon be unveiled. Most likely in February at a Birmingham guitar show, as well as NAMM in April of 2023.
Now, if you'd like to check out these guitars, if you'd like to get your hands on these UK Workshop guitars, try them out, come along and see us at Birmingham Guitar Show in February. We're going to be there, we're going to have a stand, Rob's going to be there, so come along and say hi. I'll put all the details in the description. In the summer, that's when we're going to release our new instruments for the year, but you'll hear all about them at Birmingham and NAMM. And then in the second half of the year, there'll be some more guitar shows, more opportunities to come along and say hi and see us.
Main reason why I think they need to get a giant artist is because going back in time, again, like 5-6 years ago when I first started this journey, Chapman Guitars were everywhere. Jared Dines, Pete Cottrell, Fluff, Rob himself, you know, the whole Anderton's entity, Rabea, Rob Scallon, they were everywhere. Anybody who was anybody was playing Chapman Guitars, especially with an online internet presence. Now, it doesn't really seem like they really have that sort of presence anymore online, and it's kind of shifted to other brands, like most notably Solar Guitars seems to have taken that place with the online presence. So I think they really just got to get somebody who's kind of just like up and coming or just like new and hip. You know, God, I sound old, hip. But you know what I mean? Like, they got to have somebody that like has that internet presence, that online pizzazz, because Chapman Guitars at one point in time was most notably like an internet brand, and they've kind of lost that identity a little bit. That is what I think they need to do, honestly, first and foremost, and just maybe that's all they need to do. Because in my opinion, the problem was never with the guitars themselves. All their guitars have looked absolutely beautiful, and I really have never really heard too much QC problems you know, any different than any other brand, you know what I mean? Meaning, if you want to find a QC problem, you can find it with literally any guitar brand across the board. But in my opinion, and from, you know, just my overall kind of just consensus about the brand, it was never about the quality of the instruments or the instruments themselves. It just, somewhere along the line down the road, the reputation of the brand took a bit of a blunder. Not a bit of a blunder, a massive blunder. I mean, look at right here, just before Christmas, up on Instagram, they posted some new ML1 Pros with that kind of shape-shifting flip finish. I mean, these look absolutely beautiful, man. Check these out, right? I'll put this picture up here on the screen. Yeah, they look absolutely beautiful, dude. And then here, not too long ago, on December 29th, right before New Year's, they posted 3 new ML3s. We have a coral pink, habanero orange, and a liquid teal. Like, these guitars look really, really beautiful. So it's never been about the guitars themselves, it's just about the reputation along the way. Another thing I think that would really benefit Chapman Guitars, easier said than done, is go back to like the old school approach of the Rob and the Captain type of show. Now, I think that's not as easy to do anymore because, if my memory serves correctly, Rob has since moved and is no longer local to the Anderton store. So that's kind of like why he hasn't really been on the show as much. But I just remember just always watching those videos and like the charm of those two working together and just, you know, having Pete and Rabea in there as well. Like, it was always like this cool, like little, you know, dynamic little team that they had going on. And I think that was always helping fuel the Chapman Guitars brand. Now that has since, you know, no longer a thing, I think that's kind of where the online presence is also kind of, you know, taking a back seat. But yeah, everybody, I just really think they have to ramp up the online presence and artist presence. And in order to do that, they just got to get the guitars into, you know, the hands of the younger players or the people that have, you know, platforms or, you know, whatever you want to call it. And another endeavor that's going on with Chapman Guitars that I've said on this channel once before, but I'll say it again, and I really want it to succeed, is this: the Workshop series, like their new custom shop British lineup, not the British standard lineup, the British Workshop series lineup. I want to see that succeed too, man. Now, at the time of this filming, I checked just 10 minutes ago. I haven't seen any sort of YouTube videos on any sort of the Workshop series other than the initial product launch. And I'm only looking for those because I want to see other players, you know, buy them, check them out, and document them. Because, you know, I think they're visually beautiful looking guitars, but again, they got to get that reputation ramped up. And, you know, somebody else other than Rob or Lee has to talk about them and play them and just showcase them. So that all remains to be seen. You know, just because there's no YouTube videos of a certain guitar or certain guitar brand doesn't mean they're not good. But you guys know what I mean? Like, the world lives on the internet, and like, you know, people make opinions off of internet videos, especially with guitars, right? So that all remains to be seen. And I just hope, you know, somebody posts a video of them and documents them, because like I said, I think they look beautiful, and I wouldn't mind seeing that take off and be incredibly successful. I mean, it's just my opinion, you know? So everybody, that's my overall thought and opinion of Chapman Guitars. What do you guys think of my thoughts and opinions? Do I think they'll make a comeback? I think so. I think, you know, who doesn't love a comeback story, right? Who doesn't love a redemption story? I'm not one to pass judgment. Like I said, I'm not one to, like, I don't know, if somebody makes a mistake or somebody says something unfavorable, like that's the end of it, and, you know, that's the end of that, unless it's really egregious. But, you know, people make mistakes, people say things they shouldn't, and all the above, man. And, you know, like, you've never made a mistake, I've certainly made mistakes, and it's just like, we can always grow and learn from our mistakes. And in my opinion, I think we should all at least be given the ability to grow as humans. But that's just my own personal opinion. I know the internet's opinion of others is a lot more cynical than mine, but that's just kind of like where I stand on life. Like, we're allowed to grow and be forgiven, but, you know, such is life. So yeah, everybody, that kind of just wraps up my thoughts and opinions on Chapman Guitars. I just want to sit down, turn on this camera, and just talk to you guys about what I think the next step, or what the most crucial thing that needs to happen for the brand is, you know? Like I said, no shade, no judgment here. I'm just documenting the brand and just talking about it, and I would like to see him succeed because, I don't know, man, like, I think everybody deserves a shot to succeed, but that's just my opinion. So, what do you guys think of Chapman Guitars? Do you think there should be a comeback? Do you think there will be a comeback? Do you even think that a comeback is not even like an accurate description? Do you think like this is all blown out of proportion? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions, man. Like I said, this video and all my videos are nothing but a way to discuss things and just shed some positivity and not bash or criticize, okay? So that being said, everybody, I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all stay safe, stay healthy, and stay metal, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.